Here is a review of Comparing Bits Investigation 1. We learned about ratios, which are just comparing two different items. There's three ways we learn to write ratios: 2 to 1, 2 to 1, or 2 to 1. So if we have two boys and one girl, we can write it as 2 to 1, boys to girls. If we double the kids, that means we have twice as many boys and twice as many girls. The ratio is now 4 boys to 2 girls, or 4 to 2. I think you can see these are equivalent ratios. This one's in simplest form. Now what happens if we triple the number of kids? So instead of having 2 to 1 here, we have 6 boys and 3 girls. So now our ratio is 6 to 3. And you can see this is a part-to-part comparison. Over here we have a part to whole comparison because we're looking now at boys to total kids. So if we look at boys to total kids initially, that would be a ratio of 2 to 3. If we look at this group here, we would see there's now 4 boys and 6 total kids. And our last part to whole relationship here is 6 boys to 9 total kids. So part to part and part to whole. We also learned about something called tape diagrams or thermometers. The example in the book was a fundraising example where they showed different grade levels and how much money they were raising. So let's say this percent bar or tape diagram or thermometer shows a total of 200, maybe $200. We need to find where 1/10 of 200 is. Well, we know a half of 200 is the same as 5/10 of 200, and that would be about here. And we probably can see that a half of 200 is 100. So here's where 100 is. We want to know what 1/10 is. That means if we divided 200 into 10 equal parts, what would each part be? Well, we could say, let's take 200 and divide it into 10 parts, and we'll figure out each part is equal to 20. So here's our 1/10 down here, and this would be 20. So if 1/10 is 20, then 2/10 about right here would be 40, and 3/10, 60, 80, and then here we are at 100, 5/10, and on and on. If we wanted to figure out what 6/10 of 200 is, well, we'd say 5/10 is right here, that's half. So 6/10 is a little bit more, and we could take 20 and multiply by 6 because it would be 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, and then 6/10 would be 120. So 6/10 of 200 is 120. You might also see tape diagrams going horizontally instead of vertically. So this one shows 0 to 60, and we want to know what 1/4 of 60 is. Well, we could divide 60 into 4 equal parts and find out what this part is right here. Or we could say, well, half of 60 is 30, and a half of a half is a fourth. So a half of 30 is 15. So either way you do it, you'll find that a fourth of 60 is 15. Here's another tape diagram. This one goes up to 100. Well, we know half of 100 is 50, and half of a half would be a fourth, which is 25. Or we could take 100 and divide it into 4 equal parts and find out that this part is equal to 25. That's all for now.